Have you ever thought to yourself, I just can't adult today? We all think about it from time to time. But what exactly is adulting and who decided when we become one? Today I want to take the time to talk about why we should create a nationwide adulthood age of 19. At the age of 18, young adults are allowed to smoke, buy lottery tickets, enlist in the military, and vote, but they are not allowed to purchase alcohol. I see this as a flaw in our nation, and I think we should change the way we view adulthood. I have done a lot of research, so I feel like I'm qualified to talk about this topic. I will be talking about 3 things that will help make my case for lowering the drinking age. The first thing I will talk about is why one state is already seeking this law. Second, I will talk about how some may argue that this is going to cause more drunk driving accidents. And lastly, I will talk about how college-age students are now gaining access to things such as Uber and are required to take alcohol education classes so they're equipped to make good decisions about drinking. Wisconsin is the state that is currently already seeking lowering the drinking age to 19. Representative Adam Jarchow of Wisconsin believes that if you can enlist in the military, then you should be able to enjoy an alcoholic beverage. He feels that 19 would be the perfect age because most people are out of high school by then. And the bill would also save countless hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars enforcing drinking laws in the state, especially on college campuses. He said those efforts could be used for other important issues such as drug abuse and sexual assaults. Speaking of sexual assaults, according to the National Crime Victim Survey, 11.2% of all students experience rape or sexual assault through physical force or violence. This same study also noted that 86% of campus law enforcement officials have the legal authority to make arrests on and off campuses, which to me means that they could be using those efforts to help solve the rape culture epidemic that we are experiencing. It is great that Wisconsin is seeking out this law already, but if we decided to do it as a nation, it would help keep us all on the same page of how we view adults. Some would argue that changing the drinking age is going to cause a lot of drunk driving accidents, but they have actually already studied this, and there have been a lot of studies that have shown that there is no correlation between the two. According to a study done by the Journal of Policy Analysis and Management, the legal drinking age has no perceptible influence on fatalities. Knowing that the drinking laws don't have correlation could help us understand why changing the law would not be a huge issue when it comes to traffic violations and drunk driving accidents. Last, I want to talk about how the use of Uber and better knowledge of drinking equips young adults with the tools that they need to make responsible decisions about drinking. Uber has been huge when it comes to changing the game about drunk driving and keeping drunk drivers off the road. According to a study done by Brad Greenwood of Temple University, a complete implementation of UberX would save roughly 500 lives a year and create a public welfare net over $1.3 billion to American taxpayers. Second, ride sharing is super affordable and really easy to do if you have a smartphone like most college students have. Colleges are also required to do mandatory education on alcohol and drug abuse. There is a Drug-Free School and Campuses Act, which has been implemented for a long time. A condition of receiving funds or any other form of financial assistance under any federal program, an institution of higher education, state educational agency of local law enforcement must certify that it has adopted and implemented a drug prevention program. I know that some may argue that students don't take these things seriously, but in my first year of college, I still remember the videos that they showed us for alcohol education, and it had a huge impact on the way I view drunk driving. Today, I talked about a couple different reasons why we should take action and create a nationwide adulthood age of 19. I talked about why one state is already pushing to have this done and why we should all do that. And I also talked about how this would affect the number of traffic accidents. And lastly, I talked about how Uber is changing the game on drunk driving and keeping drunk drivers off the road. So every once in a while, this debate comes up and people talk about changing the laws, and it comes up in the Senate. And so I just want to encourage people to think about all the pros and positive effects it would have if we all got on the same page about how we view adulthood.